Here are my top 10 DC comic books of all time. This was way harder than Marvel. I mean, they're consistently so good. Batman, I wanted to put like 5 of his stories in there. Let's get into it. Starting with Infinite Crisis, I think it's a love-or-hate event here. I love it. The events that come before and after are also awesome. The whole era of DC at this time was fantastic, and this is a big culmination of a lot that was going on. If you're a big Superman fan, you would probably love it. There's some multiversal Superman, just extremely epic, and not for beginner readers, honestly. It's complex, but if you're a big DC fan and you love it, yeah, you understand. It's so awesome. And a comic very dear to my heart here, Alan Moore's Saga of the Swamp Thing. It is so good, very unique and epic. It's trippy and very philosophical, well written. John Constantine's first appearance is in here. Swamp Thing stands out. He's probably my favorite character. He's so unique and epic, the way his powers work, how he interacts with the world. Everything about it, if this is your type of thing, you understand. It's just amazing. And Tom Taylor's Nightwing became an instant classic when it came out. He nails the character of Nightwing. He makes him so likable. He's very unique for a character, and it's refreshing somehow. The art is even unique. Everything about it is awesome. It's on point. They hit it on all cylinders. So you're definitely going to want to read it if you're a Nightwing fan. Solid for first readers, too. Kingdom Come hits hard. A very isolated story. No build-up, no tie-ins, nothing. It's just Kingdom Come. It's great for first readers in that way, and another way, if you understand the legacy and the history of the characters, you're going to appreciate it a lot more. And if you read Batman for the first time in this book, it's going to be weird. Fantastic story. It's just a very captivating story that just hooks you from beginning to end. A love letter to Superman in a way. Yeah, you got to read it. Jeff Johns' Green Lantern. I read it and I was just so fascinated by the whole thing. It is a Game of Thrones in space. You got 7 different colors going to war. There's backstabbing, there's alliances and betrayal and death and war. It's literally a galactic Game of Thrones. It's so amazing. The drama they build is epic. The sci-fi, the action, everything. The introduction of all the color rings, building up to the Blackest Night. Sinestro Corps War was a fantastic event in the middle. Everything building up to Blackest Night is just such a blast. It's one I enjoy every time I read it. The art, the storytelling, the space drama, it's just amazing. And to hit you with the curveball, this series 52 was fantastic. It's actually taking place right after Infinite Crisis. So Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are gone. This is the DC universe without the Trinity. And they nail it on all points. You get to dig into the characters, these B-listers. Renee Montoya, Booster Gold. Black Adam is actually a standout here. Lex Luthor has some of his best villain stuff here. It's a super engaging, gripping story because you're just like wondering where they're going with all these characters. But they tell a tale that keeps you engaged. A lot of action. Black Adam does some violent stuff, some solid Black Adam here. Anyway, it's a weird one, but it's just fantastic. Out of all the Batman books, I think Long Halloween is my favorite. It's just everything that Batman is stuffed into one book. The murder mystery, him being the detective, a lot of rogues in this. So, the art and the story just really keep you in. It feels like you're a kid watching Saturday night cartoons. So the Batman Long Halloween, but my God, there's Hush. The Dark Knight Returns, Year One. There's so many Batman stories that I could put on here, but we're going to go with Long Halloween as the best. And the climax of the New 52 Justice League run Darkseid War is very different, which makes it very intriguing. It's very mythological. The other side characters shine. Darkseid's daughter, Mr. Miracle. The art is some of the best. Jason Fabok's probably a top 3 for me. It's beautiful art. Pacing is nonstop. Action is epic. So it's definitely a must-read. And The Blackest Night. I couldn't sandwich this with Jeff Johns' Green Lantern's whole series because he already had Sinestro Corps War and all these things. It's so long, but Blackest Night is its own event. It's a DC-wide event, and it is so good. Very unique, even from Marvel or DC or anything. It's just one of the most unique stories. The art is amazing. The characterization, like Flash and Hal Jordan here, have just an amazing relationship, seeing them talk. The death of Batman taking place before this. They're still mourning him, and that plays into this story a lot. But this is an awesome, epic, unique Justice League or DC-wide story that you gotta read. And rounding it out with Deceased. So epic, so fantastic, so surprising with the twists and the turns. You never know where it's going. It's an alternate universe, so they could play with the deaths of characters, and the way some of that happens is just surprising and sad. It's funny at times. This book here is written so well, hits all points that you want in like a DC or Marvel comic book. But I haven't finished it yet. Can't wait to read War of the Undead Gods. But this is just so epic. You have to read it. You're going to underestimate it because it's another zombie story here, but it's fantastic. An honorable mention is controversial. Injustice, you either love it or you hate it, and I understand if you hate it, because there's some things in here that even make me cringe. For example, spoiler alert, the death of Nightwing was terrible. The way that happened was just ridiculous, but besides some, little things, this story is epic. It's another alternate universe story, so they get to play around with the characters and the deaths and the story itself, but it is super surprising, just like Deceased. Deceased is better. But this nails everything, whether it's the Green Lanterns or the magic-powered people or the Amazons or whoever it is. They nail the characters, the action, the story is crazy. Things just keep happening or popping off all the time. The pacing's incredible. You can't put it down. So I'm on the side of people who really like Injustice. There's too many other honorable mentions to mention, so I'm just going to leave it there. Thanks for tuning in. Here's the second half of a top 20 DC. I did a top 10. I'm going to keep going with 10 more. So here's 11 through 20. Starting with the new 52 Batman and Robin. It's the best Batman and Robin comic by far. The whole series is solid. I ranked each volume of this series in an older video. You can check that out if you want. But the dynamic between father and son here, Robin and Batman, is just so perfectly done. The action, the character dynamics, and the drama between father and son is just so epic. The drama between the rest of the Bat family, it keeps going, but this is definitely the best Batman and Robin comic. Flash Rebirth became one of my favorites the first time I read it. It's so good. Ethan Van Sciver does speedsters so well. His Reverse Flash and his Flash are epic. I just love the art so much. The story's awesome. Seeing Barry Allen return after a very long hiatus, seeing where he stands in the DC universe, everything about it, and then him versus Reverse Flash is always fun. Superman's Secret Origin is freaking awesome. Gary Frank's art is gorgeous. The humanization of Superman here, his badass powers, they are all on display perfectly. Superman is the person we should all strive to be. James Gunn's movie, I mean, the world needs a Superman right now, and that movie's going to be epic. But this right here, his relationship with Lex Luthor, his powers, he's a badass. His parents are awesome in this. Everything about this book is a feel-good story. Love it. JSA Black Rain, Black Adam is the villain here, and it is awesome. I'm a big fan of the Black Adam character, and this is one of his best stories. Seeing the whole Justice Society fighting him, it's action-packed. The pacing, it just doesn't stop. It's a pretty violent too. Everybody's a badass in this, and it's just an awesome story. Green Arrow Year One is so badass, very satisfying. I mean, his evolution into becoming the Green Arrow all made sense. Him getting stuck on an island and taking out drug dealers, giant drug operation, and then there's the humanity connection with one of the slaves there that he wants to save. It's just a story you cannot put down. Very cinematic. I would love to see it on the big screen, but if you haven't read this, you got to check it out. The action is on point, the character is awesome, and there's a couple surprises. It's a must read. JLA Tower of Babel. Come on, it's Batman using his plans. He's not using the plans. A villain steals them, but the fact that he has plans, productive plans to take out the Justice League efficiently is just so awesome, and it's so Batman. So seeing that conflict with Ra's al Ghul taking those plans is just a treat. Under the Red Hood is one of the first comics I've read. I love it so much. I love the character of Red Hood. I love the conflict with him and Batman. Batman trying to figure out what's going on. The conflict with the Joker, all of it is epic. The action, everything is pretty violent, but it's pretty satisfying for what he's doing to the Gotham Underground. I can't saturate the whole top 20 list with Batman books, because he would probably have like 12 of them on there, but Under the Red Hood's one of my favorites for sure. Must read. The Rebirth era, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps blew me away. I love it opening up with a gnarly Sinestro conflict, a crazy display of power by Hal Jordan at the end of it, and the series keeps going into an epic space drama with alliances with the Yellow, and then murders, not knowing who did what, and like these Yellows and Greens are at war with each other forever until this, when they start an alliance, but then things get shaky after some murders and all kinds of stuff. So the drama there is epic. There's even some crazy stuff with some of the new gods, but I couldn't put this one down. And even Ethan Van Sciver's on the art for some of the later issues. It's just a great Green Lantern stuff. The new 52 Aquaman run is freaking awesome. I never really liked Aquaman, but this story would make you like Aquaman. I promise you. It's awesome. Black Manta shows up, and that's awesome. The art by Ivan Reis is amazing. One of my favorites. I mean, the Atlantis and Justice League go to war with each other. The quality doesn't stay as solid. By volume 4, it dips a bit, but I absolutely love rereading volumes 1 through 3 specifically. if you've been looking for some Aquaman stuff, this is where you should go for his villains, the story here. Aquaman is an awesome character, the DC lore, it's a great read. Another Rebirth series here with Red Hood and the Outlaws is amazing. It's not what you would expect. The ruthless killer on a team with an Amazonian woman and Bizarro didn't really sell me, but when I picked it up, I couldn't put it down. The story's awesome. A lot of DC lore to deal with here. I mean, there's Amazonians and Krypton DNA and Red Hood, but it's great. The other two characters here are fantastic. They bring a lot of humanity to Red Hood. You know, he's not just a ruthless killer. He cares about people. He's empathetic. He cares about their well-being. And they really bring that to light. So that's really awesome. The series is super good throughout. Doesn't really dip in quality. You know, Red Hood, respects Batman's no killing rule for a while. He is part of the Bat family. He's not a villain anymore. But by the end of, well, not the end, but by this volume, he starts killing people again. And it's pretty savage, pretty satisfying, because Red Hood usually kills the right people, right? So this series is pretty awesome. And if you're a Red Hood fan, you got to read it for sure.